The Election Commission of India announced the celebration of the National Voters' Day 2022 with the theme of making elections inclusive, accessible, and participative. And when Manipur goes to poll for the 12th General Assembly election the same year, the Chief Electoral Officer quickly took up the task of converting the visionary theme into action. Further, the District Election Officer, Imphal East, under the guidance of the CEO Manipur, swiftly made progress in the confidence-building measures of all categories of voters and forming a vibrant and active district monitoring team.
The entire election process is a cumulative effort of the entire team. It is not a single team, so the polling personnel play a very crucial role. So what we have realized is that in the last election, the women polling teams, 55 women polling teams, they have done remarkably wonderful job as polling personnel. So we wanted to scale up the participation of women. So we had to boost in more energy this time so that the participation rate also increases.
The district administration, Imphal East, walked the extra mile and scaled new heights by engaging numerous women polling officials, including a women's sector magistrate in the 12th General Assembly election of Manipur 2022. Consequently, the district is witnessing a steep rise in having all women polling stations, which numbers to 130 against the previous record of 55. The all-women polling stations, named ITA, also has an additional feature of having at least one woman security personnel on duty. The initiative of setting up all-women polling stations comes with the guidelines of the Election Commission of India in ensuring more participation of women in the electoral process. For the first time, the ECI introduced postal ballot facility for absentee voters in Manipur. In Imphal East District alone, 1,481 voters who are above the age of 80 and people with disabilities voted through postal ballots. And for the first time, the postal ballot voting was totally conducted by all women polling personnel, the ITA postal ballot team. An ITA postal ballot team comprised of 2 polling officers, 1 micro-observer, and 1 videographer. Altogether, 16 ITA postal ballot teams, accompanied by 2 women security personnel for each team, visited the homes of the voters who opted for postal ballots and conducted the election successfully. Consistent efforts and knowledge sharing with concerned stakeholders regarding the barriers faced by the transgender community in participating in the election process paved the way towards a more inclusive election. As expected, more than 90% of the voters registered as other turned out to vote in the 12th General Assembly election. In 2019, 9 transgenders from Imphal East District enrolled themselves as other, while 64 of them registered themselves as other in 2022 following workshops and motivation programs. Certificates of recognition as other category voters were provided by the district election officer. An insightful step taken up by the district election officer was the provision of hassle-free queues at the polling stations for other category voters. Laina, who exercised the franchise right, has more to say about the transgender-friendly election.
Vote tawbase haidi akhoi se haidi transgender mo oibanina hek thokpase ikaizaba nupa makte lepers nupi makte lepers hek ngamdaba dei bo se thadaninga su hek thokpasa sangbodo sat thokbodo ikai ngasi ma pakta su ai su ikaiba itom to obagi ado hazik da hoi miam lakpidana smaina tawraga democracy da smaina participate hon base am nungai.
The district has given special focus on the centenarian voters with a belief that they are the ones who have made the democracy what it is today. Altogether, 20 centenarian voters were identified, out of which 8 cast their votes through postal ballots and the remaining opted for pick and drop at polling stations. In what could be termed as a noble act, the returning officers visited the homes of centenarian voters with a humble gift as a token of appreciation for their active participation in elections.
Abong mathangi vote so mukalaki ke ko sumaina
15 polling stations of Imphal East were identified to have lower voter turnouts in the last state assembly elections 2017. To increase voting percentage by at least 10% in the mentioned polling stations, creative decorations, doctor's booth, May I Help You desk, crèche, and other confidence-building measures were introduced. The ambience and confidence-building measures taken up yielded a compact turnout of voters.
Samasa phabam se amada khoi gi right ama sumaina akoina akhoi gi contribution ama pibane na khanjai aduduna isa isa gi thamoi dagi pamba achuma thawak tawba candidate da koi thajage lakchabani.
So I'm very excited and akhoi da sumaina right ama pibi ba say to choose the right candidate na aisu yam wakhal monna khalaga I'm going to give to the best.
The district has a very vibrant and active monitoring team for an accessible election, and many of the team members belong to the PWD community. Besides, wholesome efforts were made to make the election more accessible for the PWD voters.
Dummy ballot na chingba aduga dummy ballot paper aduga koi voters guide na chingba se koi braille da karida aduga koi sign nego is the magi different more means of communication me am se koi phakan base ji thasi ni am ngai.
Imphal East District, this time we had a total of 433 polling stations, and overall around 3,000 officials, they participated in the entire conduct of the election in the district. And out of the 5 returning officers we have in the district, 3 of them are all women officers, and they have performed really well. So I'm really happy about that. And coming to the poll day, we had seen a number of instances of mob gathering, etc. had been reported, and then all these instances had been addressed timely with the help of the district police and with effective deployment of security forces.